Some Trump supporters are now finally starting to experience a little bit of buyer's remorse, especially when they consider that the policies that he was talking about incessantly on the campaign trail actually will impact them negatively. Case in point, Trump's border wall, which A, will not be paid by Mexico, B, will be paid by American taxpayers, and C, will actually displace individuals living near the border. Okay, so let me give you the details on that. Apparently, the way that the border wall is proposed to be built would either break properties in half or could end up leaving some US properties on the Mexican side of the border, okay? Now, the property or the land will still be the United States, but because of the way the wall is gonna be built, the border would basically put these homes and these businesses on the Mexican side of that border.
Let me give a little bit more color to this. So a lot of folks have land that stretches across Texas and Mexico, right? So ironically, for some of these guys, when they build a wall, they take your land on the American side because they can't take the land on the Mexican side. So they're like, well, why are you taking my land? I need to build a wall here. So I'm taking your land, it's eminent domain. And people that have experienced this, and this was before Trump, it has already happened in some cases, are shocked by it. They're like, wait, you're telling me the US government can just come and take my land? Yeah, it's called eminent domain. And a lot of conservatives are super pissed about it.
They are, exactly.
Sometimes eminent domain is done for private interests, which is absolutely outrageous, including, by the way, by Donald Trump to build parking lots for his casinos.
Right.
So now, one guy had his house taken from him and his land taken from him on the American side, but he still had his land on the Mexican side. So he wound up moving to the Mexican side.
Yes.
Because it's his land, and every time he has to come back into the US, he has to go through a locked gate.
Yes. Okay, so we have two really great videos from CNN. CNN has been doing a special report on this story. And so let's take a look at the first one, which will help you kind of visualize what this problem entails.
President Trump's recent executive order to expand the border wall could stretch over highly populated areas. It will bisect even more farms, golf courses, resorts, and ranches. Hundreds of miles of wall and hundreds, if not thousands of landowners will be forced to sell their property to the government. Former Customs and Border Protection Commissioner Ralph Basham says expect huge, prolonged legal battles.
Particularly in the urban areas, it's going to be very complicated. It's going to be, it's not a popular idea.
So, look, I'm gonna give you specific examples, like specific Trump supporters who are now outraged by it. CNN interviewed them as well. But I think this is a perfect example of how important understanding policies really is, right? Because it's not as simple as, I don't like them Mexicans, so I wanna build that wall. Okay, well, but what does that mean? A, is the wall gonna be effective? B, I'm doing a lot of alphabetical stuff today, obviously,
I know.
Right? But also, is the wall gonna be effective? And also, how is it gonna be paid for? What type of resources is that gonna rely on? And also, how are Americans living near the border gonna be impacted by this, right? So many Americans living near the border who will be impacted by this negatively voted in favor of Donald Trump without even understanding the ramifications of what they're voting for.
The CNN video in its full version is in the description box below in the link. Let's watch the second part.
The Riverbend Golf Club and Resort in Brownsville, Texas is bracing for the worst. The fence is already here on the right and the left. If the government decides to finish it, it will cut the resort in two.
70% of our property would be on the south side of the wall. That would affect 15 of our 18 holes of the golf course and over 200 residences.
Jeremy Barnard is the general manager and says residents here will fight for fair value of their property.
I don't think anybody here is just going to hand over their property.
Pat Bell is one of them.
And what happens here means everything to me.
Like almost everyone CNN talked to along this border, Bell is a Trump supporter. But she does not support a wall, especially one that would essentially move her home to the Mexican side of it. She says fences and walls don't work, which is exactly why she plans to fight for her property.
Make America Mexicans again.
Dude, can you imagine you voted for Trump and you hate Mexicans, and then all of a sudden, I don't even know if that woman hates Mexicans. Let me just be fair. Okay, what's fair is fair, but probably she does. But anyway, just imagine you're like, I hate Mexico, I hate Mexicans, criminals, rapists, blah, blah, blah. And then it turns out that your house is on the Mexican side of the border.
Oops, you didn't think about that before you voted? Like, the guy said he was gonna build a wall, and you say you believe everything he says. You didn't realize your house would be on the Mexican side? I mean, look, it's hard to, that lady who got her husband deported, I had some sympathy for. The lady who's losing the Meals on Wheels program, I have some sympathy for. Hard to have sympathy for these folks. They almost all voted for Donald Trump, not realizing he'd build a wall right through their house, okay? No, but literally through their property. And the guy who built a golf course, 15 out of the 18 holes on the Mexican side, well, hey, listen, man, shoot it over the wall. If you didn't want it, you shouldn't have voted for Trump.
So with Pat Bell, even though she voted for Trump, that was the woman that you saw at the end of that video. Even though she voted for Trump, she voted against, well, she didn't vote against the wall. She was never supportive of the idea of the wall. She's like, the wall isn't gonna solve the problem, right? So it could be that she disagrees with his immigration policies, but I actually do feel sympathy for them, as opposed to the woman whose husband got deported. Now with that case, I felt terrible for the husband, but the woman, she showed willful ignorance and the superiority complex that drove me crazy. In this case, especially when you consider how difficult it is to own property in the United States, like how much you have to go through, I feel bad that this is gonna happen to them.
No, I don't feel bad at all. We're totally reversed. I felt bad for the lady whose husband got deported.
Right.
These folks, 0% sympathy, no sympathy at all. You wanted a wall, you got a wall. Be careful what you wish for. I will double down on.
Okay, fine. I don't feel bad for any of them.
Okay. Now let me just explain two more things. Let's go to the graphics here. So now look, like we said, some portions of the fence, as you see in the video, already exist before Trump. But now because of Trump, they're gonna add to it. So with hundreds of additional miles of Trump's proposed wall expected to be built along the Texas border, thousands of landowners may be forced to sell their property to the government or stay and live in changed circumstances. Bone up on your Spanish, folks.
Ay, qué lástima, no me digas.
El duende chingón. Okay, I'm having fun with this story. Now, one more piece of hypocrisy here, and it's so right-wing 101 here. Pat Bell voted for Trump, but never supported his border wall plan, and now she may have to get a lawyer because her home will no longer be in Texas. And she says, you hate to say that I would get a lawyer, but if it comes to that on this issue, I would. That's what she explains, okay?
Yeah, good luck with your lawyer. Your lawyer isn't gonna be able to do anything. There have been hundreds and hundreds of lawsuits related to this issue, and every single time the homeowner has lost against the government.
So, but the part that I like the best is, now because the right wing told them that lawyers are bad and you need tort reform. They're like, nah, I hate to get a lawyer now. Okay, I mean the lawyers are bad, but I need one. So if I need one, then I'm gonna get a lawyer. Yeah, schmuck, that's how it works. If you need a lawyer, that's when you get one. See, they have no ability to empathize with anything. So, and they believe all the propaganda. So they're like, lawyers are for bad people. Unless I need one, then lawyers are good. Yeah.
If I had a magic wand, I'd say, lawyer's good.
Okay, lawyer for me, but not for you. Okay, wall for you, but not for me. Okay, sad day for you. Wall for you, and enjoy Mexico. Young Turks membership creates independent media.
Believe me.
No ads.
Believe me.
All the shows.
Believe me.
On demand.
Believe me.
Support independent media.
Believe me.
It's awesome, tremendous. You'll love it.
Believe me.
And by the end, you'll be thinking,
I'm like a smart person.
tytnetwork.com/join.